Another day of choices, decisions, and consequences. If you haven't yet, I humbly request that you'd go back and watch days 1 and 2. Today we are starting day 3. Welcome once again to the Hitchhiker's Guide to Chernarus, Kambiwobo, Kamyshovo, day 3. As you can see, we started off with a rainy day and a long trek ahead of us, but before that, my first choice today is to apologize for something that I should have discussed, well, probably in the first day. But here we are, so I'll just get right into it and say, I'm sorry. I use names in this game probably different than most people do, and the game uses the names in different ways, so we're going to address that before we get on our merry little way. So, first off, let's look at the map a little bit. Now, the first note's going to be, I'm looking at the map that you pick up in the game, the actual tourist map you can find almost anywhere in any town along the coast, as well as hunting areas. Now, if we take a look at the words, you'll notice they're in English letters and numbers, however, they are not English words. It looks to me like this says Kambiwobo, and so I've always called it Kambiwobo. When you're playing the game for the first time and early on, you'll find these maps, and on these maps you have double names. Kambiwobo says Kamyshovo, Por says Rog, Tenra says Tolga, Mikta is Mst, and so on. So when it comes to using the names in the game on the map and referring to them, I switch back and forth between different naming conventions. It's all basically Russian to me, and so I kind of use a mix. If the letters look like words in English, I will use the first two syllables of that word, Kambi, or Kambiwobo in this case, because it's an easy word to look at. And if I'm looking at the map or at the sign and I say, hey, meet me at Kambiwobo, my friends can easily identify that on any map, because when you see Kambiwobo, you'll know. Or Tenra, that's Tenra when I look at it. Or Por, it's the little castle called Por. Or, so on and so forth. But that, look at that. What is this, right? So the names I use are going to be a little unconventional, but I will do my best to make sure that I explain both the name in-game, the name in English, and then why I use the name I use. Like I said before, typically it's the first two syllables of the name if it applies, unless, like I said, Kambiwobo, but like Electro, Cherno, Savet, certain towns have really long names, and I use a different set of conventions in naming them. However, from now on, I will make sure to use both the name that I use as well as the name on the map and the English version. So I apologize for any confusion I may have caused. Hopefully, I just caused some laughs and you guys just make fun of me and go, oh, Kambiwobo, what are you, a dork? Who says that? Well, I've been playing since day 1 on the console, and Kambiwobo was one of the first towns I ever encountered. And when I looked at the sign, that's what I saw, that's what I said, that's what it became. There are many places on the map that have their own nicknames. When you play with friends, it's good to have a nice inside language. You have your own nicknames and things just stick. There's a house on the map that we refer to as Hero's House, and the house type is also referred to as Hero's House by us. But that's not what it's called in the game, or what most people call it. It's that 2-story yellow house that everybody loves to run upstairs and camp inside the top room with that deadly staircase. We call it Hero's House because an incident happened there a long time ago, and it just stuck, It's an easy, quick reference. So I apologize again for the way I say things on the map. Look at this. That's Starry. We call it Crapo because it looks like Crapo. There's also the other one that looks like Captain or Crapton. And so, I'm going to use the names the way I used them, and I apologize. However, as you can see, it's raining cats and dogs, and we have a long trek ahead of us. If you didn't see yesterday's or the last day, I should say, we're on our way to a town called Mikta or Musta or Mista. I don't know what you call it. We're passing this castle, or Castle Rog on the map, and we're gonna hopefully hit the castle, hit the town, hit the castle again, and somewhere in between find that damn shovel we need. And we're gonna start with another DayZ trope. Day 2, we broke our shoes and we struggled to find shoes. After we found shoes, we then found another pair of shoes, and then another pair of shoes. And here, I found a pair of leather boots. So, one of the DayZ tropes is, you can never find anything when you need something, and then when you find it, you can't stop finding it afterwards. So, we got shoes for days now. Another DayZ trope is, no matter what you do, there's always going to be a zombie right around the corner. So, dispatching zombies, and then moving on our merry little way. Ooh, the towers are all updated. I haven't been in a tower since they updated them. This is pretty cool. These used to be death traps too. Just the stairs alone would kill you if you took a wrong step. Now they've added all kinds of platforms and wood spots. This is great. Top of castles are great for finding sniper rifles, usually like a Tundra or a Mosin. It's one of the best spots to look for such a high-powered rifle. Otherwise, it's your typical castle loot all around. And that's about all we found up here. And another pro tip coming up, like I said in the last castle, don't forget to check under the... Oh my god! We found a crossbow. Except for... So I dropped the bolts that I picked up because it's pretty unlikely I'm going to find a crossbow. And with another DayZ bingo achieved, we take our anger out on this poor guy, figure out where we're headed, and then make our way back towards that town we're looking for. Mikta, or Msta. Mystery Science Theater Avenue? I don't know what it is. It is very easy to get off track by just a few degrees and miss your mark by kilometers in this game. So I always check maps, and I've been using my compass, and I stopped to get a little bit of pretty B-roll. Look at that skybox, those clouds. Didn't used to look this beautiful. This is idyllic, you know? I'd live here. I would live here. I'd pay money to live here. Anyway, let's keep going. Now, normally I would not travel out through open fields this much. A lot of my movements, again, and decisions are dictated on a vanilla official server by other players being around. In this case, I'm just playing for survival, and this is more of a surviving on my own type deal versus dealing with, you know, other players and that aspect of it. But if there were other players, I would not be running through a field. I'd be taking all of these tree lines and keeping certain things, like maybe I keep the power lines parallel to me and I run through the trees. Or you keep a road near you or in reference, but you run through the trees. It's not often that you want to run out in the open typically, because anywhere can be, you know, a line of sight for someone. And in DayZ, there is always someone in a bush, on a rooftop, just hiding for some reason in a shed. You never know. But you're always head on a swivel, no matter what you're doing. And it's easy to get lost when you're traveling without major landmarks. Even like with the castle in the background, I could head directly to that castle and still get lost and miss it before I get there. Something to keep in mind. So it's always good to have a compass and know how to use a compass. You would be surprised at how many people I've met who have no idea how compasses work. And they use the gold compass because it's the only one that just points north and they know how to use it. The orienteering compass is just as easy. You just have to know how to use it, you know? But either way, a compass is a great tool to have if you have the space for it, and they take up very little space. So usually I keep a map. No, I'm only using the map for this playthrough, and so I can like reference things on it. Otherwise, I wouldn't even use a map. The map's in my head, and you can find maps all around the map. So that's my little pro tip for you guys when it comes to navigation and how to get around, keeping reference points and using your compass. That's the best thing to do. Know where you're at, know where that place is on the map, and then using generic directions to get to those places. There are also ways of knowing what direction things are without having to have a compass, and I'll discuss that later when it comes up. And I'm also not sure if they've updated things. It used to be that like the wind only blew east to west, or the clouds only moved a certain, you know what I mean? But that stuff has changed, and I don't want to like give any wrong information because I'm still learning here too, as this has been updated so many times. It's pretty much a new experience with old memories. So, once again, we just want to shovel, you know? The whole deal, for some reason, is that I want to build this wall. I probably won't even finish the whole entire building, but building the wall is step one. And that took the ropes and sticks yesterday. We made the fence kit. We put the fence kit up. We got the logs put in there, and then we needed a shovel to build the base for the logs. Shovel or a pickaxe. I keep neglecting that. So even a pickaxe would be great. And both of those items are found in industrial areas, farming areas, sheds, you know, the civilian residential areas, but in their gardens and shed areas. Even in, I have found them in lighthouses. I don't know if they still spawn there or if that's been updated in some way, but like even lighthouses. But anywhere you find a shed, you're gonna have a chance. So I'm going to this little town hoping that the sheds and the farms will have what we need, and then we can build this ridiculous, pointless wall, because I don't need to defend against anything. I don't even need a base. The only reason I'm actually setting up base is because I do like to hoard things. So if I want storage, or if I want to put down the tents, the best place to do that is going to be like a big open shed or barn. But as we go through each town, I'm going to pick a different house and building, and I'm going to explain why you would use that building or want that building or what I would do with it, and try to do what I would do with it, given I get the resources, you know? As you can see, it's day 3, and we can't even get what we need to make a wall. So once we get that done, though, we'll be pretty much on our way. It'll be a matter of not ruining our tools, because when we do find a pickaxe or a shovel, the key is going to be not ruining it or not losing it before we get it home, you know what I mean? So that's where we're at. But we made it to town, so let's see what we got. So far it's been pretty empty, pretty typical. Like I've said several times, there's no extra loot. I didn't mess with any of the settings except for the time of day and night. Otherwise, the loot is what it would be in vanilla on a fresh wipe. The only reason I would have a benefit is because there's not people coming around picking up all the good shit. But also, like I've said before, if people are not picking things up and putting them down and hoarding them, then they're not coming out of the loot economy, which means that the respawning of loot is going to be different. And there's going to be, right now on the map, there are, you know, 100 towns, and they've got 1,000 loot spawns, and all the shit that I need right now is in a town somewhere. And with that being said, I could easily go, obviously, to any town nearby. I could go down to Electro or Cherno. I could go up to Berezino. But I guess you could call it a self-imposed challenge or whatever. But as part of this challenge or this series, I am staying out of the major cities that I plan on spending a weekend, because if I'm going to spend a week there anyway, I don't want to, you know, spend time there before we get there. And while it would be easy, obviously, anybody could day 1 run all the way up to Tizzy even. I can make it up to the top of the map in an hour, given I don't die from starvation or something else. But like, you know, that's not the point of this. I'm exploring the cities and the areas around them. I'm also getting stuck in corners and bushes and almost dying because I'm an idiot. So, as I've said before, I create my own drama. I don't need players. I've got zombies in here and I've got myself to worry about. So, as long as we can keep it alive, we're going to keep exploring the towns around us and living in all the major cities. Speaking of which, we do have a choice coming up when it gets to the end of the week. And that's going to be, do I start my journey clockwise around the map, meaning going to Electro and Cherno and going west? Or do I go counterclockwise and go up the long side of the coast and go east, you know? If you have an opinion, you got 4 more days to throw it down in the comments and let me know what you think. Otherwise, I'm going to just pick one at random. Well, I guess the DayZ gods spared you guys because they got tired of hearing me talk and gave me this lovely shovel 2 seconds later. So we got a shovel. Now we got a decision to make. Do we run all the way back home and build this wall, wasting all the time we took getting up here? Or do we explore the rest of the town and maybe find some stuff we'll need later? That's another DayZ, you know, decision balance making scenario. We are going to go ahead and explore the map or the town because that's what we came here for. But we got what we came here for, so let's like try not to die on the way home. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know if I was loopy from the expired backpack beer I just drank, or still high off the dopamine rush that you get from finding a shovel in DayZ, but I basically decided to spend the entire rest of the night wasting all of the ammo and all of my guns in this house, shooting zombies through the window. Or, rather, missing most of my shots at zombies through the window, which attracted more zombies. And as it got darker, there was no way I was going out there. So, I proceeded to shoot every single last shell, just about. And that's a decision you make when you're bored, when you have nothing else to do, and when there's no players. I had no players to worry about, and farming zombies through a window in a town is actually a pretty effective way to get loot. In this case, it was sort of a twofold. I was just, well, actually, I accidentally attracted more zombies than I thought I was going to, and I got scared. And that can happen, you know? Sometimes we bite off more than we could chew. And with the light of a new dawn, we were blessed with a beautiful morning and a clear path ahead of us. So let's get to building that damn wall, shall we? As usual, though, DayZ likes to teach you little lessons. Like, why you shouldn't waste all of your ammo in the middle of the night shooting zombies through a window. Because this happened. Now, at this point, I had seen the deer. I didn't hear it. I thought it was a cow. But I saw it. So I crouched down, and I was going to stalk it. pull out my shotgun, pull out something that had ammo. I think I had a few shots left. But as I slowly crept forward, and there he was, the most beautiful creature I'd ever seen. The biggest buck I'd ever seen. Close enough I could reach out and touch him. He was gonna be mine. Oh my god, he was right there. He was right there. No, 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 no. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, he went this way. Oh, come on. Where are you? Where are you? Perhaps old Bozon didn't bag his beautiful buck, but he did bring back something even better. The wisdom to carry on another day. So it started raining again. I guess even the heavens were crying for me missing that deer. Oh, the tragedy. But now we have a goal for another day. I'm gonna get that buck. And as with all things, DayZ, it giveth and it taketh. But lest we forget that in our most times of need, it giveth more. And so, on this journey back home in the rain, we were rewarded with the fruit of the gods. And the fruit of the gods led us on the trail to this little reward. Oh man, I could have used that 20 minutes ago. Oh, got me a crossbow bolt. The infinite ammo. Now, if I wouldn't have dropped those bolts before, I would have loaded one into my crossbow and been holding it that whole time. So when I did come across that deer, I could have pulled out my crossbow and thwapped him one. But we will be prepared for the next time. Now it's back home through the woods, wet and rainy. But happy because we got our shovel. Hey guys, that's a successful end to day one, right? We got a shovel. We got a crossbow. We got our bolts. We are set. This is the road back home. Look how good my navigation skills are. This is amazing. If it would just stop effing raining. So if I just go straight up this road, I will end up at that town next time I want to go there. Good to know. Good to know. And finally back home. Now we are ready for the moment I've all been waiting for. We're gonna build us those walls. Shit, forgot we need nails. Fucking nails. One of the hardest things in DayZ to find when you need them is nails. I haven't seen nails. I haven't seen nails yet. Well, now we know what we gotta do tomorrow. Looks like I'll be running into town looking for nails. Son of a bitch. Once again foiled by the wall of eternity. We're on the hunt for nails, and our decisions have been dictated once again by DayZ. That's how it goes, you know. Well, thanks for watching. Love you guys. Bye.